Hello world! I don't know if I'm audible, I admit.
I can hear you.
Excellent, thank you Gareth.
Jesus!
Sorry, am I too loud?
Just because of the settings I have on my mic.
Okay, CK2 just did something weird. Right, it's now not quite occupying, no, it's now not quite full screen, which is a bit confusing. Thank you. Right, it's now full screen again, and I've accidentally scrolled all the way up to the edge of the world. So, what I think I will do actually is temporarily go and look at... Oh yes, the audio is terrifying, isn't it?
I don't think that's the setting.
Right, let's get that down to the point where I'm just reaching the top of the green. Right. Right, I should be clipping less terrifyingly now.
Squawk.
Actually, it's probably better if I turn down this knob, isn't it? And turn up that knob to about there. Fiddle it further, microphone down a bit, streaming program up a bit, and yeah, but that's fairly close to right. Right. Hooray! Oh, no, I can't speak that loudly. Hooray! That's better. Right. Right, so the sound is reasonable, the picture is reasonable. Now I just need to be able to control the thing. Hello, CK2. Right. Where were we? So, I have to remember what this game's doing. It's been a while now. Of course, yes, but I'm not going to turn on the camera. It was a possibility. So, yes. So where are we? We are... how do you zoom out in this thing? That way. We are down in this tiny corner of Africa here.
Which you would have encountered a bit with me in my previous game. As I stomped through it going, hello, this bit's mine now, let's paint it pink.
I'm like about 4 generations in, I think. Maybe 3 generations into this game. And my realm is that tiny area there. 2 counties in the independent duchy or petty kingdom of Gojam, which... Oh, no, 3 counties, sorry. I managed to take nibble a bit out of something in the vicinity of Aden as well.
I would like to know what they're called.
My name is King Hiram II, the Hollow of Gojam. As it says up in the top left corner of my screen. Yes, if you want to put things on the television, Verity, it's now your job to find the end of the HDMI cable. So I'm... Yes, I think... I think I started as King Hakim the Wise, and then, yes, moved on to Hiram the Affable, and then Hakim the Tenacious, and now Hiram the Hollow. As you can see, my neighbours are a bit bigger than I am. In particular, Abyssinia has, I think, just merged with a neighbouring kingdom over here to become really quite large. And meanwhile, well, yes, the Muslims are being quite expansionist up north. You can see that we are in a largely Christian area. We are Miaphysites, Physites. Thank you, Verity. You didn't even have to say anything. Though the Sunnis have been taking over. I think, yes. So this area around the Horn of Africa is Sunni population, but controlled by Abyssinia, which is a Miaphysite government. Meanwhile, this area around here is a Miaphysite population controlled by a Sunni government.
They would like to know, how do you become hollow? How do you become...
I think I must have been I must be malnourished or have been malnourished. Yes, there we are.
Yes.
Malnourished. So yes, I have at my disposal all of about 1,000 troops. Probably get up to about 1,500 if I wait a bit. I do have a pretty decent set of alliances though, in that I've got these blue counties are allied with me, and occasionally I have managed to get alliances with the Byzantine Empire, but not at the moment apparently.
Jacob says give him a pork pie.
Yes, maybe. So yes, so part of my problem is, well, my major problem is that I am tiny and all my neighbours are huge. I've been trying to marry into every family I can lay my little paws on. I think one slight problem with marrying into and to Abyssinia is it turns out that they're all related to me already. So like the Queen of Abyssinia is actually my sister. But they won't take a non-aggression pact because, well, I think they want to invade me. So a possibility is swearing fealty to Abyssinia in order that we can gang up on the Muslims and drive them out of Africa. Or I continue trying to... Who have I got? So who are my alliances with? So I've currently... The entertaining thing is that I got alliances with with counties within Abyssinia. So yes, he has no children, so getting a useful marriage to him is going to be hard. He is tiny and already betrothed to my niece, because like I am quite tightly tied into Abyssinia, except the bastards won't give me a thing alliance. He has no children, indeed appears to almost not exist, appears to have no family at all. He's got a wife. He has no parents and no children.
So maybe they just sort of spring into life and have just as much information as you need to like.
So I'm not going to be able to marry anyone to his family. It is kind of entertaining that I do have alliances within the thing, chiefdom of the next whatever the thing is. What's that realm? Within the Hashemid Sultanate. He is, yes, that one has a so the chief of Gezira is actually a local, more or less, my aunt indeed, but Kassala has managed to get, they've brought someone in, a Muslim from presumably across the seas. Similarly Hayar, and indeed Trinkitat, I think so. So it's going to be a bit tricky to get them to marry my nice Christian daughters or granddaughters, daughters at the moment probably. Indeed, a problem I found with trying to ingratiate myself with Abyssinia is that most of them have daughters too. So
yes.
My 3 daughters are not very tempting.
Yes, this is a fundamental problem that you often get when like everyone doesn't like line up with your dynastic plans because they're too similar to their dynastic plans.
So yes, Theosia is not yet betrothed because all of my neighbours have daughters, I think, insofar as they have children at all. Okay, and that's then I probably have to go a second generation down. And oh look, it's a granddaughter. So yes, so I'm not quite sure what to do now. I mean, I don't think Abyssinia. Oh, I had actually asked for an alliance just before I saved. So
So now can you go to war with someone? Or is that just a terrible, terrible idea?
every war I have attempted has been disastrous. No, actually, it hasn't. I got Aden. I'm kind of my chancellor is currently in Thais. They're fabricating a claim because this is a fairly tiny little duchy which only has twice as many troops as I've got. An alternative might be to go after CK2, which is even smaller but inconveniently an island. In particular, this tiny little duchy is about to become one county because,
With someone else as well?
yeah, so the adjacent county is a bit. The county next door is in the middle of this war where Sheikh Idris is trying to take over that county, and Sheikh Idris is. Well, he's actually not that strong because he's doing it as a vassal. It's not his liege that's doing it, so he might not manage to take it. I had assumed that it was being done at a higher level, but it's not. Also, what on earth is going on with... So who's occupying him then? Oh right, so actually this guy down here is being occupied by this guy up here. No, vice versa. They are each occupying the other's territory. The score is reasonably level. Oh dear. Spy sneaky around my castle. It's confirmed this morning when I caught him red-handed. I'm not concerned. Gain 10 piety. I wish to behead him, which will cause me to get more martial but annoy my temple vassals, of which I have none. Or do I gouge out his eyes, which give me more intrigue? I think I shall behead him. So now I have +2 martial, which might be slightly helpful. So yes, I don't have any claims on things yet, do I? Wheat claim on the Sheikhdom of Gezira, but like I don't think a wheat claim is useful, and B, that would involve declaring war on someone terrifying. I think I would have to declare war on the Sultan. Yes, I think I can declare war on the Sultan. So I do apparently have a claim on Gezira that is actually strong enough to be usable, but the Sultan has like 4,500 troops, which is quite a lot more than I've got, and I think quite a lot more than I plus all of my allies have got. Let's just quickly...
Hopefully your allies will all turn up, of course.
Yes. Yes, noting that one of my allies is Gezira itself, who probably wouldn't turn up. So, what's the button I want? Right click to get the province owner. So, like, he's got 234 troops. Axum has 1,000. Nubia has 566. So, like, I can scrape together maybe 3,000 troops if I'm really lucky. So this guy, top liege, what is it I want to do? I want to shift right click. So that high chieftain has 4,700, so even with all of my allies I probably can't take him. I think I should move my Chancellor to CK2. No, that didn't work. Obligate claim on CK2. On the grounds that will work a bit better. So yes, I think before I was kind of allowing time to run quite fast and then hoping that things would happen. Word stood against word, the farmers against courtiers about damage caused to the farmer's house by a cow owned by the courtier. The courtier in question is my marshal. My marshal is cynical, wroth, lustful, arbitrary, and infirm. And only barely tolerate. Well, no, he's slightly better than barely tolerating me. Well, I'm a tribal leader. I should go for being nice to people. David was not happy. Just realised I'm reading this in the style of that John Bull does his CK3 things. Slightly different accent, but not very. Right, well, that will annoy my marshal a bit. Yes, I'm a tribal leader rather than a feudal one, which means that I don't get levy troops from my vassals, or at least not from my tribal vassals. Instead, I have to ask them to join my wars and see if they decide to do so or not. Does mean I can raid my neighbours. Maybe I should raid my neighbours. I'm sure that won't seriously piss off the King of Abyssinia. Queen of Abyssinia? King of Abyssinia now. Yes, right. My marshal is in fact organising raids. Or rather, he will occasionally, about once every 5 years, produce a reasonable sized army in my capital, which I can then send out to annoy the neighbours. Right. So that looks like that invasion of Zabid failed. So I was probably right to shift my Chancellor to CK2.
So Claire's asking, why is Gujira visible? Is that because of an alliance or spies?
That's because it's immediately adjacent to my territory.
Yeah.
So you can essentially see one county out from your territory, which leads. Oh yes, the reason why I can see slightly more over here is that my spy master is currently in Zabid, so I can see these armies in. This army in Sanar and up in Tihama. So,
Claire is just suffering from the difference between brown and black, and brown is not green.
yes, the colours in this of the Christian kingdoms of East Africa
We're really not in East Anglia,
tend to be brown. Yes, it is quite notable that it is not. Hang on. Yes, terrain mountains. Down here, we're in the Ethiopian highlands. Oh, my little daughter has has reached the point where she needs... Oh no, not my daughter, my half-sister. Okay, who's... Right, yes. Yes, so I have... Assuming he's married, well betrothed anyway. Right, so let us work out what to do with this half-sister then.
Simon would like us to like the version of the game on a smaller scale with Crusader local councils.
Well, I am on a smaller scale. I'm a Crusader petty king or duke, except
I mean, I've made
except
an
I'm
entire kingdom now.
except that I'm of the wrong religion to go crusading. I think I don't think the
Yes.
Miaphysites will go crusading.
I don't think
Right, so I haven't managed to find anyone to betroth her to yet. Like, we're down to, even without wanting a matrilineal marriage, we're down to courtiers pretty quickly. There's a sheikh over there. Where's he the sheikh of? Yeah, he's not going to be the best alliance ever, is he? Wrong side of Arabia. Or the Dew of Mudar, who's even further away. So yes, kind of want someone nearby, really. Anyway, still, we'd better educate her. Can I use that for... I mean, she's not actually an heir to anything useful, don't think, is she?
Claire says we should do a delay test. Scope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I got up to 10, I think.
I don't think I can adjust this into extra low latency. No, you can only change the latency at the start of the stream. No, that's not a useful thing to click on, Ben. You need to do that. Whee! Right. Yes, I was wondering if I can get her educated in Abyssinia in order to improve relations with Abyssinia a bit. Yeah, that's not how that works. I think I have to do this by going to Abyssinia and saying, would you like to educate? Some of that wasn't a yes.
Pills everywhere.
I mean, I'm not likely to declare war on Abyssinia. I mostly raid them.
I'm going to declare war on Abyssinia.
So it seems perfectly reasonable to improve their opinion of me.
Well, then they might turn up to your... Oh, whoops, they might bring my bathroom.
So, yes. His opinion of me has now gone up to 19, but I bet he still won't offer me an alliance because... Alright, he won't even offer me a non-aggression pact. No, because he feels that he should be able to invade me at some point. And to be fair, he probably can. Who's he then? He's not really of any relevance to me.
He's a really good raider, 10 out of 10. Would be invaded by again?
Yes, so what can I do now? How's my... I'm pretty much up to full strength of my armies now, but most of my neighbours are scarier, except for the nice guy out in CK2, whom I do not yet have a valid casus belli against, though my Chancellor is working on it. We've got a son. We've got any... Ooh. Would you like my sister, my half sister Senowat? No. Because you have political concerns. How about you? You'd even taken matrilineal marriage. Interesting. Well, we could do that then, because this guy is, I think, or not. It's confusing. Is this an absolute cognatic touchy? Or am I just confused about someone's gender? No. So you're the current holder of this duchy. Agnatic, cognatic, oh, it's elective, right, I see. So she's not actually... So the 1-year-old is not necessarily going to usefully inherit. So the question is, do I get this marriage in any way? That's why he doesn't care about it being matrilineal. Do I get this marriage in any way to get the alliance? Which I think is probably worth having. And she is only my half-sister, it's not like she's particularly important. Make it matrilineal for the good of the dynasty. Meanwhile, the very heartlands of Western Christianity are under siege by the infidels. Desperate Christian lords have persuaded His Holiness Pope Benedictus V to declare his intention of forging a great and righteous alliance to expel heathens in the name of God. This signals a new era of large-scale Christian holy wars, the Crusades. So, yes, Deus Volt, indeed. Meanwhile, the Knights of St. John have come into existence. Now have the full weight of the Catholic Church behind them. Pious Catholic rulers, which is not me, now have made call upon their support in wars against heretics and heathens. Yes, well, that's not very good for... Well, we're not technically either heretic or heathen. Similarly, the Teutonic Order. But yes, Monophysites are, I believe, considered neither heretical nor heathen, merely a bit weird. Right, so now would you like an alliance? Yes, excellent. Right, well, let's improve matters a bit. That's another 400 troops for when we decide to... Well, except that we can't invade CK2 with all these troops because I'm the only one who has any ships.
during the war and you can then ship them over.
Can I?
Instead of ferry ships. I don't know. Oh yeah, you can't get them to load into.
I don't think I can load other people's troops onto my ships.
No. This is good.
So I think actually, well, I think I can take Socotra on my own. Barely.
How brave are you feeling?
Right, Theosia is actually my daughter, but quite a long way from being heir, isn't she? Theosia is my third daughter, so she's almost certainly not going to inherit anything at all. Even the second daughter's not actually heir to anything. So, what other neighbours have we got? So Irene is the second daughter. So I can lose 5 prestige and make her shy, but make her like me for all of 2 years, which really doesn't matter. Some chance of getting her gregarious, or small chance of getting her gregarious, and well, I would say a tiny amount of piety. I've got 6 piety at the moment.
You should probably get some more piety. Then you can do more stuff.
I'm not sure having 11 piety is a great improvement.
Is this a really important child? I missed that.
Second daughter.
Nah. You know, go for whatever benefits you whatever you want. You're selfish man.
Right. So Antalo has a daughter. Damot and Sosa have like 2 daughters. Yes. It's kind of fine. I don't really want my immediate neighbours to be my allies because they're harder to raid if they're my allies. Saita is already my ally, isn't it? No, it's not. Right, what's he got? Oh yes, he has no relatives at all, which means that his heir is the Duke of Simeon. Hurrah! This is directly controlled by the Duke of Simeon, and has a daughter and a daughter. Tajuram would be a useful place to have as an ally, but his daughter is married. Is she the heir? Yes, she is. And she has a son who is presumably thus liable to inherit something. So how would he feel about marrying Irene? Matrilineally, I bet that means it's a... Oh well, let's do that. I have no idea what the consequences of that will be. But... Oh, I should also sort out a guardian for... What? Senelats. Have I got 2 children without guardians? Yes, Senelats managed to lose her guardian as well. Right. Who should I send her to? So does that mean that the king of thing... Now, he still likes me for having entrusted a ward over there, even though she's come back. Does that mean I can do it again? I say, hey, would you like to take Senlat off my hands again. Yes, he's just given me another 10 points. I should carefully arrange to get people educated by people who are about to die, shouldn't I? And my poor laptop is getting quite warm. I should put some insulation between each of my laps. I was running OBS and Crusader Kings is causing it to work quite hard. Right, so I've still got another daughter who needs a guardian. I mean, I could send her to Gondar as well.
That's the note look down back of the sofa for her guardian.
I don't
Look
know.
down back there. There's going to be a vampire.
So, okay, would you also like to take on Theosia? Right, so, oh, I should have looked at who that was, because what it was touching there. So it was my half sister
Into some kind of snoozy state.
Senrat, who's betrothed to him, who is under him. All right, I already have an alliance with him. What? Am I just a stoat? No, it was my own daughter, Theosia. Oh, no, who is not currently betrothed to anyone.
Find out how many other early mornings I have this week. Squawk. I'm going to turn into some kind of snoozing ocelot. I'll probably be up before you tomorrow.
Alright, got any meeting?
Yeah, 8 o'clock. I'm looking about-
Sorry, I apologise for the weird scrolling. I was trying to see whether IRC was saying anything interesting. But that involves switching away from Crusader Kings, which causes confusion. Right, so I still haven't got my third daughter, Theosia, betrothed to anyone. But yes, the thing was that she's Duchess of Senyen. Keely. No, he's a girl. Curses. And so is Magdala. Let's see if we can go further east. So he, Count of there has no
yes, I'm
useful
intelligent
people.
enough that for once
No.
I'm representing for exoplanets because I'm wearing Cheops. Which is almost geographically proximate to Ben's kingdom, as it were.
Well, we have a newborn Epiphanios Leon of the most distant bit of Africa. I think he'd like to marry my daughter. Too high in the line of succession for a matrilineal marriage, but might take a non-matrilineal one. I mean, of course, the other use for marrying off daughters, it occurs to me now, is that I can use prestige for actually doing things. So it's kind of worth marrying them off for the prestige. No, that wasn't what I meant. But 10 prestige is not really worth it. Or 4 prestige. No, it's only worth doing it if I can actually get into a kingdom like this, isn't it? Into a duchy. Into a duchy. $45 prestige. And that house. That was what I meant. 8 prestige. $43 prestige, but it's a bit old. I can't remember if I get the prestige immediately or if I have to wait until they actually get married. So Manuel of Macedon seems to be a prestigious match. Oh, go on. Right. So I have time to pass again. Famous writer proposes to compose my family chronicles. Do I give him patronage, which costs a small amount of money and gets lots of prestige? Or does everyone hate me? Well, really. Right, okay, so the betrothal doesn't get me the prestige, it looks like. I think. Did I just... Oh, I don't know. Yes, Jacob. Verity said she is wearing a Cheops t-shirt at the moment, or some such. So there. So I have a feeling that one of the selling points of this laptop was that it had microphones that were good for cutting out all the noise around you and only picking you up, which is great if you want to record yourself, and not so much if you want to record someone on the other side of the room. So, nothing very exciting is happening. The nice man out in Socotra has not managed to get me a claim on Socotra yet. I've got 69 prestige, which is not really enough to do anything. Run time even faster. Raised an army, but fairly small army. Okay, now Gondar's raised an army. Right, what are you doing, Gondar? You're engaged in a holy war for Thais. Do I join you in that? In the hope of getting some prestige out of it, even though it's going to give you the territory. Yes, I think I do. Not just because like it's the thing to do, but also I should get some benefit if I contribute a decent amount to the war. So now I have allied with the King of Abyssinia in the invasion, which will partly improve the opinion of the King of Abyssinia of me. Joined my war, plus 15, but he still won't give me a non-aggression pact. No. I think political concerns are essentially blocking. But now... raise my liege levy of 40 troops over in Aden. Raise my slightly more sensible levy of 1,400 troops here, and well, there's presumably a few troops. Oops, no, that's not what I meant. There's presumably a few troops I can raise here. No, I can't, because of course he's a tribal vassal. So mostly thus we want to march these 1,400 troops over here. Send them to there first. Send these guys across to there as well, just to get them out of harm's way. I've lost my... Where's Crusader King's gone? There it is. Right. Sorry, I was briefly nipping back to read some IRC things. I obviously need a second monitor just to put IRC on. Run this a bit faster. I may actually be able to contribute a decent quantity of troops to this war. Surely I've got a better commander than that. Well, barely. Maybe I need to recruit some good commanders. Where would you find a good commander? Search all men who want to join my court. Bloody hell, he's decent. Hello, join my court. Otherwise they're fairly meh. Seems reasonable to have about three commanders who are better than the one I've got. Oh, who? What? Who are you? What made you think it was a good idea to plot to kill me? I mean, really. Oh, meanwhile, yes, I was trying to deal with this nephew of mine. Ooh, a male child. Well. I don't suppose... Oh no, that's not the right one. Yes, she's my rival for some reason. I think we just want to look around our near neighbours and go, who's got a daughter then? Yeah, Magdala, not betrothed. I've got this kid lying around. Right. Oh, I already had an alliance with him, Stoat. Oh well. It'll help to keep it alive. Right. Yes, I could imprison Zenobia, but she might actually be willing not to carry on with that plot. You never know. You're expecting an answer to that in 6 days. Meanwhile, there was a thing which was to sort out my commanders now that I've got a bunch of new commanders who might be a little bit more plausible than some of these. Actually, what's my current marshal only has 13 thing, so let's bring Leon in to be the new marshal and temporarily allow him to lead troops. And then we can probably find a couple of better commanders as well. Right. So then I can assign those. One of them anyway. Yeah. Unpause and allow my troops to meet up. Yes. Yes, I can forgive you. It's about that's not a sensible way to arrange an army, really. I mean, if we're going to try to have 2 flanks, we could at least have the centre be the big one. So I do have... Okay, is that our enemy? That's our enemy. We might need to be a bit careful about that, because if he stomps in here before my friends arrive, I will be in trouble. Actually, in that case, let's send my army in there on the assumption that those guys will at least help to defend me. Because I think our enemy is currently in the middle of another war. Yeah, so he's defending against both Abyssinia and the Nabajids. Nabajids, sorry. So, right, there's a 6,000 strong army next door, which is not nice. How have you found that many troops? You got 5,000 event spawned troops from somewhere. Well, that's nice. I kind of feel that we're not going to win this war. I think Abyssinia may have done something foolish. Excellent. I mean, maybe I was foolish to join them, but you know, I kind of assumed that the computer player would not do something that silly. Oh well. On the other hand, this computer player is not moving his troops out of Taise, so... Okay, why didn't that give us any war score? Did it not give us any war score because it gave some war score to the other war he's in? Yes. Okay. Well, there's not much else to do. Suppose I could march all the way up to Mara and rather than helping with this siege, on the grounds that this siege is not actually going to help us. What is there up there? There's a tribe with 900. Yeah, we could certainly take those. Okay, I don't know if this will work, but I think I want to get out of this area. Leave Abyssinia to... Well, no, if... So what have we got actually in this location? We've got a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 troops. So we might just about be able to hold on here, given that this is mountainous. But we are not getting any war score from it, I don't think. Where we, of course, mostly means Abyssinia. I'm not really sure it's worth our while hanging around here. But if I clear off on my own, that will leave Abyssinia prone to being stomped by that army, which would mean losing the war. Anyway, meanwhile, what's going on? So that makes her like me, might turn her gluttonous. That makes her like me. That costs just as much, but doesn't make her like me, and is less likely to turn her gluttonous, and the others similarly. Oh, sorry. Let's go for the generous one. It might turn my wife gluttonous, but will make her healthier. So yes, I'm not sure we should be besieging this, but I'm also not sure I want to leave. And like, it will weaken our target if we do, but it is basically giving them war score. How on earth is... That's rather embarrassing. She's not betrothed to anyone. Right. Should have organised this earlier. Kind of like I'd like grandchildren, if nothing else. So really very few options here. He's quick but very young. He's strong but fairly young. Go for someone who's of a sensible age and might be useful for something. So I think our problem here is that we're feeding somebody else's war. I think I'm going to set off to the other end of the peninsula, thus slightly pissing off my ally. Oh, I mean, you won't actually notice. Let's take the prestige. Oh dear, my Aunt Berta has died, which means I don't have a non-aggression pact with my cousin Dukes Mirats of Armeniacon anymore. We managed to send someone off to marry into some Armenian dynasty a while ago, and this is and he is still officially of my dynasty, Mirats Ayasu. But apparently I've no longer got anyone married to him, presumably because of that aunt dying. Also, I think she was our designated regent, bizarrely. Oh, I'd probably like the Lord Mayor of Aden to like me more. Let's make him my designated regent. Right, I think... So now I have an interesting decision. I think I'm movement locked out of this county, which is why the computer has now decided to move into this county. Right. Well, that's fine. It'll increase my contribution to this war at least. I could have gone back, but hey. Looks like my side's going to win that battle anyway. That's nice. And frankly mildly surprising, but I suppose they are in mountains. But we still didn't get the war score. Oh dear, they're not chasing me, they're just fleeing. They are, however, fleeing in the same direction as I'm going. It's not really what I want. Because if they stop fleeing when I'm in Mahra... Oh! Crusade for Aquitaine. Excuse me, what's going on up here? Right, yes, it does rather look like the Umayyads have expanded a little out of the Iberian Peninsula and into southern France, with the consequence that the Pope has had to declare a crusade for Aquitaine, to take Aquitaine back off the infidels. Right, that's nice. It's also not my problem because I am not a follower of the Pope. Aha, I have a son who is my new heir. So I think we have a problem here because he is going to stop fleeing in this county and beat me into a pulp. I don't think I can avoid that by leaving. And he's got far more troops and I don't have an adequate defensive advantage. Oh well, we'll see what we can accomplish, but it's probably going to be painful. I'm really not good at wars in this game. Well, they fought bravely. Oh, Caesar's Belli no longer valid because Thais has ceased being part of the relevant kingdom. Right. Well, that was unhelpful. Let's bring them home. Relevant realm, rather. I think, no, it hasn't. Yes. It got taken over by the guy whose war score we were unfortunately contributing to. So I've got a son now. I may also be able to get some granddaughters in due course. Or grandsons. But they're not likely to be my heirs given the existence of this kid. Yeah, I'll dismiss your troops once they get home. What's going on here then? Hashemite Holy War for Blemia. Ooh. What's going on here? Is that a Syrian revolt? Abyssinian revolt, sorry. Interesting. What kind of war are you engaged in? Interesting. Well, I shall observe. Oh dear, I've lost the trait gregarious. I shall observe that war from a distance, though not a very large distance because it's between my neighbours. So I can annoy Sterophania and possibly cause her to become less large, or I could ignore it and say it doesn't really matter. I think I should go for the latter. Right, disband that army. And observe how things are going. Right, the King of Abyssinia is now starting to win his war. So I could help him to win his, to defeat his enemies, his rebellion. I cannot, on the other hand, offer to join them. The Abyssinian revolt has 5,000 troops. Abyssinia itself only has 1,000 troops. But the only useful claim I have against Abyssinia is on behalf of an unlanded courtier of my of the chief of one of my other tribes, which is not a very helpful. Like, it would be fairly tempting to go to war against Abyssinia, but on the other hand, he is winning at the moment. Now, I've got a reasonable number of allies of my own. So where is... That will be for that. Semien is a more amusingly large area, but not actually adjacent to me. This is on behalf of Chief Iyasu, but that would mean that I was also hostile towards the people who are currently besieging. Ooh. So what's going on with the... Oh, are they... Oh, we have a... Do we have a monophysite, myophysite split? Myophysite. So I'm myophysite, but the revolt is monophysite, which means I could actually engage in a holy war against them, pull in any neighbouring myophysites. Oh, this is going to be a complete disaster. Obviously I have to do it. Right. mean, this is never going to work. But so what I've done is I have declared a holy war against the Abyssinian revolt, which is as far as I'm concerned, ruled by a heretic, in an attempt at claiming these two counties here, which are conveniently adjacent to me. The revolt is, of course, currently at war with Abyssinia, its parent realm, on whose side I recently joined in another holy war. That was against Muslims. But I have, because this is my war, I have called in all of my allies. So now we get to find out if this will work. So I can raise my troops at least. I should also possibly set everyone to doing things that might bring more troops into existence. And then send these troops over to there initially, I think. You guys stop there. Right, there's some chance that this is going to go catastrophically wrong right at the start, because the revolt has just raised 2,500 event-spawned troops, presumably from my having declared a war on them. Meanwhile, my allies are buggering around weirdly, because that's what allies are for. Aha! The crusade for Aquitaine, though, was successful. So we now have an independent Aquitaine again, which is both nominally and actually Catholic. Right, so meanwhile I will get a pretty solid defensive advantage there, and my hope is that like one of my allies might come and join me in this battle. Okay, it looks like I might be able to win it on my own. Hurrah for defensive advantage in mountains and having a decent commander. Right, you head off into there and hope some allies join me. It's also mountains, so it's a good place to be. think since I still have the largest army in our alliance, I think it's your job to come to me. I'm not going to try to save you when you've accidentally run into the enemy. If you're going to be remotely sensible, you will come here. We're in mountains, we're usefully besieging things. I have a nephew who wants someone to care for them. Him. Would you like to take up my nephew? Well, I don't have to think about it, but we should also arrange that someone betrothed to him I don't know, who do I not yet have an alliance with? Well, I'm at war with most of the world. Now they've all got sons. What are my allies doing? Ooh, a claim on the Shakedown of CK2. Yes. At that point, you should come home because I have no other use for you being out there. And I think you should be busy sowing dissent among our Muslim neighbours. Excellent. Would you like an alliance? Yes. You know that as soon as you give me this alliance, I'm calling you into my war. Because no one actually seems to want to help me with it. So I think the revolt army is going to be coming over here unless I go over there. Now I think we want as many of us as possible to attack them, so I think actually I'm heading back to Matama in the desperate hope that between us and a defensive advantage we might be able to beat that army. My allies are just being a pile of stoats. Okay, I don't think we can defeat that army now, but sadly it's too late. Hello, come and join in our war. It's a great war. It's not, it's a terrible war. Come back here if you can. disaster, isn't it? Actually, I've done better than I expected. No, okay, don't go there. Right, well... So my current Chancellor is Philotheos, who has a diplomacy of 16. Yes, this guy has a diplomacy of 17. I don't think I have any particular reason to want to keep Philotheos happy. Let's appoint a new Chancellor. And set here inciting dissent among our neighbours. Right, so my army has now run away. Where are you guys fleeing to? Right, don't we have an army in Godjam as well? It's a small army, but it is an army. So... let's head back to Asosa for now. Should we... anyone moving into Damot? Are you going to Damot? Okay, keep those guys in Godcham then for now. Now send them... who's moving in there? Oh gods, you guys. Now you're going to Asosa. Okay, you guys don't go to Asosa. You guys stay there. You lot get to Matama, where we will gather our armies. What little of them we have. Yes, well, don't do that then. We will at least get a defensive advantage there, and there will be a fair number of us. So, like, it might work. I'm not very hopeful. They really aren't. The Abyssinian army are not doing a particularly good job here. Bloody hell, we won. Right. Now we're marching back into Asosa. Hey, you guys. This will be a good place for you to gather. Oops. All of you. So, question is, are we brave enough to take on Damot and its 913 troops? So it doesn't sound a lot, but it's mountainous, which makes it quite hard. Alternative is we wait for them to win that siege and then just besiege it off them. I think a 3-to-1 advantage is probably enough. Where are those going? They're going away. Excellent. Here I have a nephew. It may be about time I was actually teaching someone myself. Oh, and he's already betrothed, right. Yeah. That battle has ended up not quite coming out how I was expecting, but that's fine, we're winning it handily. And it's not actually part of our war. That's kind of alright, because now what we want to do is sit down here and hope that the river crossing penalty and the mountain defence advantage will allow us to win the next battle. I think it might, not sure. Yes. We now have 87% war score. We're about to besiege the other half of the target territory. Will, I think, improve matters further. 93% war score. Right. Okay, I think we can, that's mountains, I think we can safely move there. There's his major army. Patience, patience, Harris. If you sit here, you will probably win. Oh, we've got 100% war score. Excellent. Hang on, hang on, hang on, hang on, hang on. What's going to happen? This is a holy war, that's fine. Look at that, I won a war. I think this is like the second war I've won out of about 10 this game. So I can stand down those troops and go, right, what's going on with my... So stop building legends and building zeal, because it's embarrassing when those produce armies I can't use. So I control the petty kingdom of Godjam, chiefdom of Godjam, and the chiefdom of Asosa. My vassals, or the Lord Mayor of Aden, which we know about, Chief of Matama and the Chief of Damot, right? We worry about Chief Stephanos of Damot because he currently has no children. And that means that his heir is the King of Abyssinia. He is not that old. I don't think I can do very much about the fact that his wife is in prison, except possibly try to have her murdered, so that he would then be eligible to marry someone he can actually have children with. I feel that that's probably getting a bit complicated. In theory, I can create the Duchy of Damot, which would cover that area to go alongside my existing duchy, but that would then tend to split on inheritance because we are Gavelkind, so I shall not do that. Right. Well, I've doubled the size of my realm, that's nice. And it looks like it's like 1:45, so maybe now is a good time to stop. If I do this, what happens? Well, I mean, obviously I save them quick. Possibly I should just tidy this up. So it appears that now, because this is capturing a window, as soon as I stop capturing it, it all goes blank. What does that button do then? Cancel that. Right. That says device not connected or unavailable, which is kind of to be expected. So now I think I say good night stream. What? Oh, well, I don't know. You may have to be quite loud.
Okay.
Well, I can point the microphones at you. Gareth has come downstairs with a maths question. I have no idea if anyone's actually paying attention.
Hello,
but
I'm just marking work on this very confusing thing. We're asked to work out the centre of mass of a tetrahedron, which we do by an integral, which is the point of the question. So she's done it by saying the centre of mass is the midpoint of the midpoints of the faces. Is that true? It feels plausible for a uniform everything, but is that obviously true? It's the right answer.
So is this just for a tetrahedron?
It's just a given tetrahedron in the question.
Yes. So
It's
I'm not a regular tetrahedron, presumably, because then it's obviously correct.
It's a right.
Yes.
But right angle one in the corner of an axis thing. It feels plausible for a uniform density thing, but
yes.
I couldn't convince myself.
Claire says I am, but I'm rubbish at maths.
This is physics.
Right, so is the centre of mass essentially the mean of mean location of all the points inside the
Pretty much, yes.
thing? Well, obviously, that is kind of meaningless as I phrased it, but still.
No, you work out basically it's 1 over the volume, integral of the position over the volume, precisely the average of all the points.
Well, except that I was thus assuming you can count the points inside a thing.
You can have a limit.
So
Otherwise, it's some kind of what's his face.
so you can so I think the first step of this is the centre of mass of each face that the midpoint of that face, but for the whatever definition of midpoint you're using, because then we can treat.
We should go for the average of the centre of mass of each face. That might have made more sense.
Well, I think that might be what you mean by the centre of the face.
Yes.
Then then my inclination is to say, can we demonstrate that is all that the average of the midpoints of the faces is also the intersection of the line from the midpoint of each face to the opposite vertex?
Oh, hang on.
Because I feel that if we can do that, then we can say, well, obviously the centre of mass must lie on all of those lines.
There's Thingy's argument where you imagine, for example, your cone or whatever being a collection of very small discs. Obviously, you can shift the discs around or whatever. So if you imagine the tetrahedron from any vertex as being sort of just a triangle like that, the centre of masses of the faces are going to lie on a line towards the corner, and therefore the whole smash must lie on that line.
And then it must lie on the, and thus if you have one of those lines for each face, and they all intersect at one point, noting that there are quite a lot of them, then that point must obviously be the centre of mass of the entire object, because we know that the centre of mass lies on all of these lines.
Yes.
So I think that would certainly be a construction, given that. So I think that means, given the centre of, and they must all intersect because we've declared that the centre of mass lies on all of the lines, and if they didn't intersect, there would be no centre of mass. Yeah. So I think, if by centre of a face you mean centre of the mass of the face, then yes, it must. The centre of mass of the whole object must lie at the.
Thingy's principle,
and if the midpoint of those points turns out to be on the intersection of all of those lines, which I think it probably does by any reasonable definition of midpoint. Right, I can stop the stream now. Right, good night all. Well, Claire anyway.